Hey everybody, it's Brian Terrian here, adjusting my setup for today's update with 5 Social Security disability check related questions from this week. The first is, wow, received a lot of questions like, where is my stimulus check? And just for the record, the work that we do here is to help people get their disability benefits. Then once they have them, help you keep them, and then maximize them. But I did do a piece last week on the stimulus check and who is entitled to it, and so it prompted a lot of questions. So this is what I've found. I haven't found any of the members here at the Disability Digest that are recipients, disability recipients that have been paid their $1,400. Individuals that are not disability recipients have received their $1,400. Like I have family members that have received it. So I don't know what the deal is, if they have some type of hierarchy of distribution and how all that works, but hang tight, it's on its way. So that's the first thing, stimulus check. Yeah, there's another question right there. So I just addressed that. I don't know. I don't know when people are going to be paid. Um, so moving on to some of the other questions that came up this week. There's 4 more points that I want to cover, and this one is: will I lose my benefits if my condition improves? So what this is referencing is continuing disability reviews, which, as a disability recipient, most people are subject to. There's an award letter that you get, and in the award letter, it will say, like, your disability may be reviewed in a year or 3 years or 5 years, or sometimes they don't even put that language in there, and that means you're likely not going to be reviewed. So there's increasing odds that you will be reviewed, and if you do get reviewed, and this question is, if your condition gets better, will you lose your benefits? Well, I don't know exactly, because there's a lot more involved than just this, but I'll speak as a general rule. And I'll explain it this way. The rules for disability approval are that you have conditions and they're being treated by a doctor. And those conditions have put limitations on you that prevent you from being able to do any job. That's a very general type explanation. So in this situation, if let's say your conditions improve, do they improve enough so that you don't have any limitations so that you can go back to work? That'd certainly be a question. And if they do, great. In my opinion, it's better to work than it is to collect disability benefits. But if you have some improvement in your conditions and you're not able to go back to work, or maybe you have advanced in age and you are under 40 or under 50 when you got approved, and now you're over 50 and that puts you in a different category, that's another variable. So the key is with all of this is, as I've mentioned countless times on this channel and to our Disability Digest members, is that stay in treatment. Get all your conditions treated, and make sure you do everything, top notch as followed. If there's something that you don't want to do for a treatment process, then make sure that that's communicated with your doctor and it gets in your medical records. Like if you don't want to take a medication or you don't want to go to physical therapy because you feel worse after doing it, make sure that you communicate that so it's just not something that was prescribed for you to do and you haven't done it. And I see the questions rolling in here. Thank you very much. I'm going to spend some time at the end here after I wrap up these points, and I'll take a few minutes to address some of those. Yeah, Destiny, David, welcome, welcome, welcome. All of you others out there, great to have you here today. So that's the thing on your benefits. The next point I want to bring up may not apply to you if you're on benefits, but may apply to somebody that you know, or if you're not on benefits. We see this common, unfortunate trend, and it happens with individuals, or it might just appear to me that it's happening with individuals that have autoimmune conditions like lupus or fibromyalgia, where they've been working a full-time job and they start to develop these symptoms like they have the flu and they feel terrible 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, but they tough it out and they work. But they're working at a reduced rate, like $800, $1,000 a month, just working a few hours a day to make it go by. But they've dropped off of their regular, income. I'll just use an example. Let's say somebody was earning $50,000 and now they're down to 10 or 12 working part-time because they can't work anymore. Well, if you know people like this or this applies to you, in my opinion, this is critically important. The longer you work at a lower rate, the more damage you do to your long-term financial outcome. That's the point I'm going to make here. Because your disability check is based on your historical earnings, right? So if you have 5 years of $800 a month that you've been earning, you're dragging down that nice disability check that you potentially built up when you were earning at 50. And I'll put a link in the replay after this that shows you how your check is calculated. And you can actually go into one of the tools that Social Security has, and you can mess around with the numbers. Say, okay, I'm earning 50,000. Now I'm going to drop it off for another 5 years. I'm going to bring it down to 10. Wow. You're going to find out what happens. It's not good. So Social Security lets you apply for disability if you're earning up to $1,440 a month. I believe that's the exact amount this year. So if somebody's earning $800 a month, they can technically apply for disability. Now, note, it's going to be difficult to get those cases approved because you are doing some kind of work. But here's the thing to think about. Few things to think about. When you apply for disability, it basically stops your earning record. It says, okay, this is the date that I last was working full-time. So that whole drop off of your check, it draws a line in the sand. It's called the wage freeze. So that's one benefit. Now, if you go forward and you can get your case successfully approved and earning, part-time, maybe if you can drop it down below $500, you increase your odds, in my opinion. Once you're approved for disability, you can go back to work and you can earn up to $940 a month. So you weren't earning that before. You're earning $800 in my example. So you've done a few things. You stopped the drop off of your check, the decline of your check. You've gotten a disability check and you can go back to work, right? So basically you double your money, but you take the hit going through the process because you really do need to reduce your work. So long story short, if you know people out there that are going through this, maybe send them this replay, do them a favor because it's really, really costly in the long run for individuals and families. So that's the second thing I want to cover. Another question, this was from a Jennifer. Jennifer's going back to work, doing a little part-time work. And she's like, what do I do? Do I tell Social Security? Well, actually, I have an award letter over there on the table that I wanted to use in this and show you, but it means I got to leave and walk and get it. But here's my point. In your award letter, it clearly says in the Your Responsibility section that if you return to work, it's your job to let Social Security know. So in Jennifer's situation, what I would say is call Social Security or send them something in writing, which is probably better. I'm returning to work. I expect I'm going to be making $350 or $500 a month, whatever it is. But it needs to be below that $940 a month, right? Or if you don't know how much you're going to make, just say, I really don't know how much I'm going to make. It might be around this, but it's your responsibility to do that. Now, if you're self-employed or if you're doing something like 1099 or you're not working a regular job, it's still your responsibility to do that. But it's going to be perhaps more difficult to forecast because it's based on your gross earnings, and then you take all that money, then you take your expenses, and it's that amount that you're going to actually report via your tax returns to Social Security. So same reporting process, okay? Um, the next thing is, and it really surprises me that I have to cover it, but this happened twice this week, where individuals are actually on their Social Security disability benefits and have been for a while, and they don't know that they're Medicare eligible. So I'm going to cover this. And to make it worse, they were paying the 148.50 was coming out of their disability check, and they were just on Medicare A and B and weren't taking advantage of all the other benefits. So if you happen to be one of those, sorry to call you out, but make sure that if you're a disability recipient 24 months after your first payment, right, which you could have got awarded today and you could have 24 months of back pay, you're Medicare eligible right now, right? So what happens is sometimes people don't get their cards and they just start having this amount deducted from their disability check and they don't know any different or what it's for. They don't pay attention. They don't read their award letter. Just make sure that you understand what you're entitled to. Stay tuned in here if we can help you. So those are the key things that I wanted to cover that have come up this week here at the Disability Digest. So here at the Disability Digest, if you're a member here, you've subscribed, you're getting all the inside tips. That's fantastic. If there's anything that we can do to help you, then you just reply to us, any of the emails that you get about the courses and the tips that you're receiving, or contact us at support at the Disability Digest. If you're not a member, you just tuned into this channel, absolutely appreciate your attention, but we'd certainly like to help you with a more of a customized approach. So how that works, when you join us as a member, it's totally free. We're like a radio or a TV station where we have ads and sponsors and work like this. But when you complete your registration, we understand if you're approved, not approved, where you're at in the process, what some of your concerns are, so we can provide you with some more granular information and help you either get your benefits, or if you're approved, we help you keep them and we help you maximize them. So thedisabilitydigest.com, in the replay, I'll put it up there. So that's what we do. Try to come back here every week on Friday. It's kind of the groove that we're in right now. So come on back and check us out here at the Disability